I had a chance to look at it. The interesting
Sorry,
thing is
Sean,
Bounding Crisis. I think I love that card. When I saw it, I thought like, wow, that seems better than Pestermite. Like, I I'm not a big fan of Pestermite, and I mean they both died of Bolt, which sucks and makes Deceiver better. But Bounding Crisis is rather large. Like he can battle and kill your opponent pretty quick as just being a 3/3 that bounds into the battlefield at end of turn.
Yeah, I
He's
think
also got like a whole bunch of one-ups like Roast, December, and Electrolyze. I kind of wish I had 4 Electrolyzes for that matchup, last matchup, not gonna lie, but I'm not complaining.
Electrolyze is a good Magic card.
Yeah, it's a good Magic card. I'm not really an expert on the Tarmo Twin deck. It's really difficult to play. I think changing gears between the combo and just getting value kind of deal.
Sure. Hunting Crisis does seem like a cute little upgrade that Patrick Dickmann is manning. You see one there in his hand. Especially the way he likes to play Twin, the Tarmo Twin variety, where he wants to be able to put pressure on his opponents early on and sort of force them to react to his creatures, and then he can combo kill them. Bounding Crisis just seems a lot better at doing that than Pestermite does.
Yeah, like especially against this token deck, Pestermite is not very threatening against a bunch of 1/1 flyers. Like we see Bitter Blossom. Pestermite does not match up well in Bitter Blossom. I actually like Sigrist list a lot. I think it might be the best suited for the field overall here. It's just a great deck. Like Auriok Champion is going to cause a lot of problems for the Deceiver Exarch combo. You can't combo off with it. And against Jund, it's basically unkillable. So Bounding Crisis is actually really nice here because with 2 Auriok champions, it can still combo off with Splinter Twin through that because it has 3 power, which is something we don't really see that often.
Yeah, I was going to say, Auriok Champion beats the Deceiver Exarch version of the Splinter Twin combo.
Yeah.
Second Auriok Champion then beats the Pestermite version. I guess you need 3 Auriok Champions to actually beat Bounding Crisis.
That's a lot of Auriok champions.
Yeah, it's like Sigrist raised and Dickmann came over the top and re-raised.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 Auriok champions? Well, how about a 3-power combo?
That said, Tarmogoyf, I think, wins a race against Bitter Blossom here. It certainly Tarmogoyfs do.
Yeah, it looks like Sigrist is having some mana issues and in chump block mode, which is not how I expected this matchup to play out. I expected Sigrist to want to be the aggressor and Dickmann playing the control role, but Tarmogoyf is a pretty unfair card. He's going to need to find a 3rd land and drop either Lingering Souls or Spectral Procession to get back in it. Because champions also won't help very much against Tarmogoyf since it doesn't have pro-green. He's going for Intangible Virtue. Just to set up, he's hoping to draw that 3rd land and be able to flood the board with 2/2 Spectral Procession tokens. I believe that's his plan.
I mean, also, the Tarmogoyfs are only 1/2 right now.
Yeah, that's also very relevant. I'm used to casting Inquisition on turn 1 and following it up. That fairy is currently a brick wall. Bounding Crisis could tap it down, but that's not very effective.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Neither player's even drawn a fetch land so far. Oh, still no 3rd land for Siggy.
I'm just so used to being like, oh, the Tarmogoyf is probably like a 2/3 about now, or at least a 3/4.
Now what? You just start playing out your Auriok champions for later?
He's still whiffed on lands, so yeah, that's probably the play. I think he's a little afraid of the combo here. He's leaving up Path and Dismember. Of course, we can see he doesn't have it, though.
Yeah, Siggy doesn't know that, obviously. Hey, Scalding Tarn. Right on time.
That means Cryptic Command mana, though, which is a big
It also
deal.
means 2/3 Tarmogoyfs.
Yep.
So Dickmann back on offense.
Yep, Patrick's plan here is probably just going to be disrupt everything Siggy tries to do to get rid of these Tarmogoyfs and close out the game. Like, being on the back foot with the tokens deck does not seem great.
So here
comes a Path. Yeah, that's not worth crypticing yet, since right now Patrick still has board control. Although the Bitter Blossom is slowly gonna change things in that regard. I like that play though, just leaving up the Cryptic Command.
Still no third land for Mike Sigrist.
Yeah, that's really limiting his options here. And Dismember isn't fantastic here either, because he's at least paying 2 life to cast it right now.
Line champion, or are you still going to leave up Dismember and guard against the combo?
It looks like he's lining up the champion, but he's still gonna play it safe, I guess, if that's what you can call it. He really only has 2 options here, and both aren't the greatest.
Here comes another Bounding Crisis. This is the new card. I mean, Dickmann, all he does is innovate twin decks, right? Tempo Twin was his, Tarmo Twin was his, and now the Bounding Crisis technology.
And look at how good it's doing. Imagine if those were Pester Mites. They would just trade with the fairy tokens.
Very true.
Of course, Twin still isn't the win here, but currently the tempo portion of the deck is doing the job. He's going to tap down the team here, looks like.
Is this lethal? How big is Tarmogoyf?
Looks like a 3/4 right now.
Yeah, that's what I counted. So that's 3, 6, 9. Oh, and then the Bitter Blossom.
Yeah, lethal with the Bitter Blossom. But Dismember does buy him a turn if not for this Remand that Patrick drew. So that's going to be the game.
Yeah, there's the Dismember targeting Tarmogoyf. Remand will seal it. Doesn't even have to wait for the Bitter. Itself is lethal.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of like the way Mike Sigrist deck lines up here, but it's Patrick Dickmann that wins game 1.
Yeah, I really like the Spirit deck, but I see it do that a lot. I see it just sort of go bleh and not do anything a lot of games.
Let's look at
like that's how it's always losing in my experience. Because when it just casts turn 3 Spectral Possession and then Intangible Virtue, you're just like, oh, that's a lot of 2/2 flyers.
Yeah.
Especially against a deck like Jund, where all your spot removal does absolutely nothing against the Spirit tokens, and same with Liliana. But Dickmann's deck is looking to line up pretty well here overall. Now it's a matter of sideboarding.
What do you like from Siggy's sideboard?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because the Tempo Twin attacks on so many different angles. And the Black-White Tokens deck, you don't really want to disrupt its core integrity. Its powerful cards are already doing their thing. Like, his main deck looks to be pretty well set up. I'm not so sure about the Soren Solemn Visitors here. I might trim some of those for like a Spellskite, a Duress maybe, possibly Zealous Persecution, because that stops the Deceiver Exarch combo, but again, doesn't stop the Bounding Crisis.
This deck looks so good on paper, and then suddenly just Bounding Crisis is sort of changed everything just enough.
Yeah, I think that might have been the decider. If Siggy had found a land in his next couple of draw steps, he might have been able to stabilize, if not for the Bounding Crisis. If not for those weird lizard things.
That one's much easier to plural. Let's go back to Patrick's list, see if he's got something in the sideboard that's going to help him against tokens.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some. He's got a better sideboard. I mean, for this matchup, he has access to 3 colors, so he's got Pyroclasm, which is sure to come in against the tokens. He's got Is It Staticaster, which is just fantastic here if there's not intangible virtue in play. He's got Negate, which is basically just counterspell.
Awesome. Just about ready. We should be headed down to the game momentarily, and there we go. Patrick Dickmann won the first game. That certainly helped that Mike Sigrist never drew land number 3. Felt like his draw would have been a totally different game if he'd come up with a 3rd draw, but Dickmann was able to, tempo him out basically.
Yeah, it looks like Sigrist has lands and spells this hand, so we're definitely going to see a game here. Patrick Dickmann is shy on lands this hand, but he does have Remand to help out if he wants to keep this hand, which it looks like he's going to do. And he immediately draws the 3rd land, which is going to basically mean he's set. He's got Electrolyze, Remand, and the Negate I mentioned.
Even Remand Negate seemed like he could have gone a turn without the 3rd land and not been in too bad a shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Remand is for fixing your draw
here's
steps.
Here's the turn 2 Bitter Blossom, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. And it snuck in under the counter magic. There is Electrolyze, though, which buys a lot of time against a Bitter Blossom. If the intangible virtue isn't in play by then.
Yeah, we'll get to see. I mean, Patrick's just going to sit on an untapped land now, and Sigrist is going to have to try to see what he can accomplish.
Yep.
Both Remand and Negate available to Patrick.
Yeah, even though Sigrist has the board, it feels more like Dickmann is in control at this point, because next turn he's going to be able to start casting his spells at the end of turn if Mike doesn't do anything during his main phase to play around the counter magic. We're going to have to see what Mike's plan is, because his hand is very non-interactive. So he's basically just got to cast his spells and cross fingers.
Spectral Procession is his decision. Kind of have to counter this if you're Patrick, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That is like the juiciest Remand target I've ever seen in my life. Remanding a Spectral Procession is great.
Something you have a little experience with, I guess?
Oh, yeah.
And now what? Siggy just runs it back?
He might want a double intangible virtue. Like, if he could see his hand, that might be his play here. If he could see Patrick's hand.
Sure.
Because, I mean, he's keeping out mana for something, but... Oh, Lingering Souls is also a good option. It's going to get negated, though. And now Remand is threatening to counter the flashback on Lingering Souls. Patrick's hand has lined up well against Sigrist's, even though the Bitter Blossom resolved. And there's Thragtusk.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Sigrist is behind yet. I mean, Patrick can't, he's running out of counters. And those intangible virtues seem like the most impactful cards that Siggy has, especially since he's already stocked Bitter Blossom. So yeah, here he gets to go intangible virtue. All Dickmann has is, I mean, I guess you Snapcast or negate here, because you don't want to remand it with 2 untapped mana over there to just replay it.
I'm thinking Electrolyze here would be good because we know he has the second intangible virtue, but Patrick doesn't know that.
Yeah, Patrick
looks like he's going to go for the negate play. But Sigrist is just going to slam another intangible virtue probably and bash for 4.
Looks good.
Yeah, now the pressure's putting on the pressure. Patrick does have a chance to just top deck Splinter Twin though and play Bounding Crisis, and right now Sigrist doesn't have an answer for that.
Yeah, Patrick only plays 3 copies of Splinter Twin in his main deck. May have shaved them. I don't know how he thinks about this matchup. I know it's the kind of card that he can shave once the opponent has their sideboard cards.
He might have. Sigrist's deck is pretty non-interactive, though. He only has like 6-ish removal spells, give or take, pre and post board.
Do you think this might be one of the matchups where you leave him in?
I couldn't tell you for sure. I mean, I might shave a Splinter Twin because I like playing the maximum control, but look how that's working out right now. This Bitter Blossom is just really.
It's hard to play control when your opponent goes first and plays turn 2 Bitter Blossom.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done what he can, and he still has upper hand, but flying Vigilant Fairy Rogues kind of tearing him apart.
And there's a Path to Exile for Siggy, so he now has combo insurance.
Indeed. What's under the Windbrisk Heights?
Is it Emrakul?
Oh, it sounds like it's Dismember.
That's pretty good, too.
You were rooting for Emrakul to be under the Windbrisk Heights?
If it were an option, I would definitely be rooting for it. Just for the...
Did we cube draft these modern decks?
I've been Emrakul from a Windbrisk Heights before.
All right.
Inconstructed.
Sure. Now, Mike has killed the Tarmogoyf. He's got... he's going to go flashback on the Lingering Souls, which is kind of perfect for Patrick's Remand. Hard to blame Mike, though. He wants to leave the white mana up so that he has Path to Exile against any combo shenanigans.
It's kind of awkward because he really needs Pyroclasm here. He could have also just YOLO'd out the Bounding Crisis and hoped to draw Splinter Twin, but there is the Path to Exile still. Right. He's gonna probably have to Electrolyze and hope to draw Pyroclasm if he doesn't hit it off the draw step.
Yeah, he's dead to any 3 of those fairies right now. Please block. Block? Oh, he blocked. Wow. That's good. Actually buys Patrick a turn the way the cards sit, doesn't it?
Yeah, Thragtusk is even an option.
True.
Put him back up to 11 and out of any apparent cards that could kill him, like an intangible virtue or a Sorin or something.
I guess it's fear of cards like Thragtusk is why Siggy does want to block. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that one rogue is actually going to be the difference.
I'm not sure why he blocked there because he does have the vault if he wants to gain some life.
That's true. Now, Thoughtseize has given Mike a little bit of pause. Not going to cast it, though. Goes to his attack phase. Patrick is going to sack Scalding Tarn, presumably thin his library ever so slightly before he fires off his Electrolyze. Oh, or the Crisis. Okay. He can do both Crisis and Electrolyze.
Yeah, which will likely be his plan here.
Sure.
I imagine Sigrist is going to have to Thoughtseize so he doesn't die to something like Splinter Twin backed up by a counter. There probably aren't too many counters left since hard counters. There's like Dispel, but
Mike's got Path to Exile. He's got to feel decent with even before he sees the hand. But now he sees, do you actually have it? Oh, you're just trying to top deck it. Okay, take your Thrag Tusk.
Yeah, get out of there.
Path to Exile. Siggy's got this. We are going to be headed to game 3.
Well, just hold your horses. There's still Pyroclasm that could be drawn. Then he does get a loot. I mean, it's still in a great spot, even if Pyroclasm.
I still think Mike wins through Pyroclasm, but you're right. The game is not actually over unless Dickmann fails to find Pyroclasm.
It would certainly be an incredible series of top decks to get him back in this game.
Unravel the Ether appears to have come in to shuffle the Bitter Blossom back in, shuffle the Intangible Virtue back in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Makes sense. All right, on to game 3. Mike Sigrist evens things up. There you can see that one Unravel the Ether sitting in Patrick Dickmann's sideboard. That came in. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Unravel the Ether is kind of the card I didn't think I skipped over, which is obviously great, gets Intangible Virtue and Bitter Blossom. And we also saw the Thrag Tusk come in, which is not something I was expecting too much, but that also seems decent if he was going for more of like a value control plan.
Well, that's how he won the first game.
Yeah, so it's possible there weren't any Splinter Twins in the deck at all. Like we didn't see Exarch, I don't think. So he could have taken out the combo completely. And what's going to be interesting is if we see it in game 3 when Patrick's on the play.
Yep, that definitely affected this last game. Patrick is now on the play. Maybe he's going to change his sideboarding. Maybe he's just going to have up negate before Bitter Blossom can be played.
You can
Who
even.
do you like in game 3?
What's that?
Who do you like in game 3?
I think it's close. I got to give a bit of an edge to Patrick just because he has the play and can deal with turn 2 Bitter Blossom much better than basically just having that Unravel the Aether. Otherwise, he's got to grind through a million fairies.
Sure. I see from the clock that it is now ticked over to 4 a.m. where Patrick is in Germany.
Yeah, which I mean is got to be a bit of a handicap. But
I was, I've always wanted to have a little more international flavor to the Super Leagues, but I knew the time zones would be a problem. I've asked some people before and found a taker. Patrick's like, yeah, I'd love to. I'll stay up.
Yeah, I'm sure he can play this deck in his sleep too.
He might be asleep. We wouldn't know. It's just like his keyboard knows how to play this Splinter Twin deck.
Yeah. Snapcaster, Remand, okay. Splinter Twin on Snapcaster.
Nice.
Splinter Twin would also be nice on Thragtusk. So if he's bounding Crisis, I'm sure he's got at least one Splinter Twin. Because Snapcaster Thragtusk. That also wins the game if it's left unchecked.
No, that draw's got a bunch of spell snares in it. 3 land, you keep that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Three land with Serum Visions and Spell Scare.
Yeah, Serum Visions helps a lot. I didn't see that one.
I mean, if you look at Sigrist's hand, how great is Spell Snare? It counters the 2 Bitter Blossoms.
You may lose one of them before then, but yeah.
Yeah, but that Serum Visions is going to give him a good chance to find something like a Remand or a Negate, something along those lines.
All right. One game to see who advances in the winner's bracket and who picks up their first loss of the league.
Yeah, not for all the marbles, but definitely for some of the marbles.
A couple marbles on the line. I'll buy that.
Yeah. Hey, get your marble collection started right here.
Pays 2 life for Godless Shrine. Here is the Inquisition. And now
Well,
you take Spell Snare, right?
yeah. I mean, you might just take Snapcaster here because it's like, oh yeah, I'm clearing the way for this Bitter Blossom. Oh no, 2 Spell Snares because Snapcaster is going to be online.
It's fast enough to hit the second one. You're right.
Yeah. So I would probably just take the Snapcaster, I'm thinking. You actually have some room to play around the Spell Snares too. And you don't want to give him the option to just go like turn 3 Serum Visions if he wants to, when he knows your Spectral Procession is going to resolve. It's definitely a hard decision. Just because Patrick's hand is so good right now against the 2 Bitter Blossoms.
Right. Bounding Crisis also gives Patrick the ability to leave up the permission, but still impact the board if Siggy declines to play Bitter Blossom, right?
Yeah.
Any thought to the Crisis there?
I don't think so, because there's not even 2 red for like the Splinter Twin to come out of nowhere at the moment. I think Crisis is just the weakest card in this hand right now.
I think I agree with you. I'm just working through it.
Yeah. He's gonna take Crisis here and make me look quite the fool. No.
He takes the Snapcaster. Now this is just another Serum Visions off the top.
That's a great draw.
Indeed.
Which I'm not sure if he set that up with the first one, but
oh right, I didn't see which way he scried.
It's certain. I'd like to imagine he put 2 on top, and the Snapcaster was the bait, and the Serum Visions was the payoff.
Yeah, being able to Serum Visions and then still leave up Spell Snare, quite efficient here.
Pretty good, but he's still gonna need something else, because otherwise the Spectral Possession has a chance to just get him.
Siggy's just gonna play this straight into the Spell Snare that he knows is there.
Yeah, and he drew another
at some point.
Oh, Sigrist drew another land too, which is not good. He has 5 land now. Make that 6 land. And that's a very big deal here in what looks to be like a grindy game.
Spectral Procession is going to resolve, though. I mean, that's his game at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, that's all he has right now. The Spell Snare and Bitter Blossom, and he's got nothing. Of course, he'll be holding on to the Bitter Blossom to try and draw an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize.
Forces Patrick to not spend that last mana too.
Right.
But Crisis is attacking. At some point, Thragtusk is going to definitely send this race over to Patrick's side. Siggy needs to draw more spells. That's a
card. That's a pretty good one.
Wow.
Looks like Siggy brought in the hero, at least one of the 2 heroes, and
2 copies
probably both.
Hero of Blade.
Yeah, I believe so, and that is a gigantic threat.
That's insane on this board. I mean, even the 3/4 part is good. Battlecry, putting tokens into play is great.
Before he drew that, he was in danger of getting outraced by a Bounding Crisis, but now next turn he can attack with the hero and his tokens.
Bounding Crisis is going to tap down the hero, but yeah, it would have been, how much damage would it have been if Patrick hadn't top decked a Crisis?
It would have been 6 in the air, and then 2 2/1 soldiers, and the 3/4 hero.
13. Crazy.
Thragtusk would have been able to block the hero, though.
Yeah, but I mean, if Patrick taps out for Thragtusk, then Siggy's got a window to play his Bitter Blossom.
That is also true. Man, these counter spell cards aren't very good.
It's almost enough to make a guy play with black and green cards.
Yeah. If only there were a way to like counterspell the card right out of their hand and into the graveyard.
Yeah. Krasis is actually quite a good draw for Patrick. Lets him shift the turn here. It's going to let him tap down Hero of Bladehold and just sort of fend this off for a turn.
Yeah, and still keep up that spell snare.
Mm-hmm. Relic of Progenitus from Mike doesn't do a whole lot. Cycles.
Cycles keeps potential Tarmogoyfs that are drawn small. But yeah, not exactly the best draw, but also not a land.
You just declare an attack here and see what happens, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And he get tapped down, and it does. Still, 3 in the air, and Mike is, well, still ahead in this race with the threat of a hero attack.
Yep, Thragtusk definitely changes the math, though, once it comes into play. It's going to be in play at some point this game, unless Siggy top decks Thoughtseize and, well, whatever. It's probably hitting play. It's possible it doesn't.
Now, if you're Mike, you just pop this relic now?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I would. I want a new card. I want to see what else I can do here.
Can draw like Lingering Souls, Spectral Possession. He might have been supposed to pop it beforehand, and then actually, if he drew Intangible Virtue, he couldn't have tried to bait the spell snare with Bitter Blossom. So this is probably right. Or land.
Not even interesting lands, too. Got interesting land deck.
Right.
It's got 3 Windbrisk Kites and a Vault of the Archangel amongst his 24.
Yeah, Windbrisk Kites would have been great. I'm not sure if he played a land that turn, but Cryptic Command also changes things.
Wow, is Patrick going to attempt win this?
Interesting. He's not even thinking about attacking and tapping down with the Cryptic, but he might just be setting that up for the next turns.
Yeah, attack for 6.
That does only get him down to 3, though.
Man, Patrick Dickmann is actually going to tempo his way through this Hero of Bladehold, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. This is clearly the correct play, because
he gets hit for 10, but whatever.
Auriok Champion is going to change the math, though, because he'll...
Doesn't change it enough. Gets him to 11. Doesn't Patrick's attack for exactly 11?
I believe so.
Oh, no, wait. Patrick has to block. Thragtusk has to block.
Oh, that.
And then the Thragtusk dies and puts a 3/3 into play.
He might. I don't think it's 6 + 4 + 3. So he can drop down to 2 if he doesn't block, or just block a 2/1 with his Thragtusk. So if he plays this right, he's got it 1, or plays it having full information.
Yeah, he doesn't know the 2 cards in Mike's hand.
Right.
But based on the board, Patrick has to block such that Thragtusk doesn't die. Mike's going to gain 2 life from Auriok Champion when the Hero of Bladehold puts a couple of tokens into play. But 11 happens to be exactly 3 + 3 + 5. Cryptic Command can tap all of blockers. What a crazy game.
What if Sigrist had a follow-up play as well? Just 1 more creature to gain another life.
Right.
Then he wouldn't be threatening lethal anymore. But if Dickmann has been paying attention, he can probably guess that the champion was drawn this turn.
So you feel like from Patrick's side, there you're never blocking hero.
No, I didn't mean that, because Sigrist could also just easily have like a Path to Exile in his hand that he's been holding on to.
Sure.
It's definitely a really tricky spot. Like, do you just let the hero Bladehold attack and hit you? That feels so miserable. But
You know
it's threatening to win the game, right? So you probably just have to go for it.
You know what else is awesome is Mike sitting here thinking and representing. Like, what's he thinking about? He wants Patrick to believe that Mike has options, right?
Right.
I mean, Mike might just be thinking about playing the Bitter Blossom while the Spell Snare mana is down, since Mike saw Patrick's hand and knows one of his cards is a Spell Snare. But also, Mike, by sitting there and thinking, has definitely represented that he has options to Patrick. Maybe that makes Thragtusk more likely to block hero.
Oh, I just realized too that the if he blocks with the Thragtusk and it dies, he'll also gain another life, but that wouldn't matter with the non-blocking life.
To attack with hero.
Right. It's not going to work out for him. He had to go for the hero play.
Wow, he wasn't playing around. Oh, and Pyroclasm off the top anyway. Hilarious.
More insurance, but once again, Patrick has to go for it, and like I said, he doesn't know that last card is Flooded Strand. Could be Path to Exile, which is basically just, well, I guess the Pyroclasm. You can't cast the Pyroclasm though. So if that last card is Path to Exile and he goes for it, he might just die on the swing back.
Patrick could say go and plan to Cryptic on Mike's turn.
Yeah, that might be a little safer, but it also gives him a chance to draw the Path to Exile, and then it basically leaves him in a very similar spot. But he would have the option to Pyroclasm afterwards if he waited a turn to Cryptic Command on Mike's end step or in Mike's combat step. He could untap and have the option to Pyroclasm. And then he wouldn't be dead to just the hero Bladehold.
It's really neat kind of watching. Mike doesn't know what Patrick has. Patrick doesn't know what Mike has. And just, we can see what could happen if only they were psychic.
And we know what they both have, and it's still tricky to figure out the optimal lines of play because it depends on so much on what they do.
All right, we're on Patrick Dickmann's main phase. His opponent's at 9, and he's got 11 power worth of creatures.
Right. It's just, if you go for it and he has it, you lose. If you go for it and he doesn't have it, you win at that moment. But he's also calculating.
Don't go for it. That's the math Patrick has to do.
Right. He's also calculating if he can safely wait a turn, or if that actually improves his situation enough that it's worth giving Mike another draw. Because Mike's creatures are gaining him a lot of life. Like if he draws Spectral Procession or Lingering Souls, he's gaining a bunch of life.
Yeah, even Bitter Blossom he's breaking even on.
Oh, yeah, all right. It looks like he's going for it. Don't forget that stop.
Everybody's attacking. He could just.
Oh, it looks like.
Wow, so he decides to attack and allow Mike to block. So
he's planning on Pyroclasm.
Oh, he's going to get 2 damage onto the hero of Bladehold, so his Pyroclasm kills the hero.
All right, this line is.
Now, Pyroclasm's also kill Tusk if Mike blocks like that.
This line's looking fairly reasonable, but.
Yeah, Thragtusk dies, so now it's 6 power against 6 life. He does not have his Cryptic Command mana, but he does still have Spell Snare. And and Bitter Blossom is chipping away, of course.
Yep, and Bitter Blossom is not a great draw here. It looks like this line is also going to win the game, and was possibly much safer than
Ha.
worrying about Path to Exile or Dismember being in hand.
Do you Pyroclasm away 1 token and go for the kill? I mean, the alternative is to attack with both.
Yes.
Valkyrie's dead, so he falls to 2, falls to 1 from the Bitter Blossom.
He's just gonna leave up the Cryptic Command and basically seal it. Bitter Blossom or the creatures are threatening lethal at this point.
Thoughtseize. Not going to get it done. Wow. Patrick Dickmann had to kill if he was Psychic for 2 turns in a row. Got there on the 3rd turn. Safe and sound. And Patrick wins the match.
Yeah, and he played that very well. He played carefully, and he didn't really expose himself to too many outs from Sigrist to top deck. Like, he's pretty much in control, even taking the safer line.
Yeah, I agree. So Patrick advances in the winner's bracket. He will be back at whatever time in the morning it will be. He's now earned himself a seat in match number 5, where he will be taking on the winner of Louis Scott Vargas and Willie Adel. Siggy, meanwhile, falls to the loser's bracket, where he gets the loser of that same matchup. Thanks for hanging out, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I can't wait to come back next week and battle some more.